Hello, I am Drag, and this is a tutorial that I am making for a friend on basically how I streamline, quote unquote, my artistic process in Clip Studio Paint. Um, so it's really just gonna be like the hotkeys and everything that I use that helps me, because he said he wanted to go to a more line art style. So I'm just gonna give a quick demonstration and whatnot. So to start off, we should probably make a new layer. Now, the hotkey that I use for this is Control Shift N, and with that you could see there's a new layer just appeared. I'm gonna press Control Shift N. Now, since I normally have the line art layer in a folder, I normally make like multiple ones because I don't like for there to just be one line art layer. So I normally put it in a folder, and with a folder, well, you already actually have to have a layer. So what I do is I make a layer, and then I press Control G, and that automatically creates a folder and puts that layer in the folder. Then I just press Control N like 2 more times. Control Shift N 2 more times. And then I name it because that's what I do. OT. It's OT because I really don't want to have to explain that. It was like midnight when I did that. Now, some techniques that I have like come to use and like stop using, like the biggest one is actually Control B, and that will turn the layer blue. I don't actually use this one anymore because the colors, like, it's just a bit too saturated for me, and it started to hurt my eyes. So what I normally always do is I just lighten the layer up by lowering the opacity, which you can do over here. And if you don't like that, or like whatever, this is actually a really useful trick. So everybody knows about Control Z, right? But like, what if you like did the right thing and you're just like, oh crap, like I like that, but like you don't know how to get it back and you don't want to go all the way up here. So what I do is I press Control Y, and then that redoes whatever whenever I want it to. There's also there's this one. This one was actually really irritating for me because I saw all the other artists doing it, and it was how you make your pen size smaller and bigger without having to like go over here and go through the tedium of doing that, then getting it on like an odd number like this, and you're just like, okay, I hate that. So you press the brackets, the ones that look like this on your keyboard. Just press that one to make it smaller, and this one to make it bigger. Phrasing. So I am going to be using all of these tips now that I've finished the line art, I normally go into the coloring process, which consists of coloring, as you know. Normally like to make some finishing touches, like so with this photo. It's all about like constantly just like checking up, looking out for tangents, because you don't want tangents. Like this is a tangent. For those who don't know, a tangent is when two lines intersect but they are not on the same plane, and what that does is it essentially destroys the illusion of a depth. You don't want that, so you gotta fix it. That looks a little better. I might just have to change his hair. So I'll go right here, press C, and that automatically will put on clear pixels. When I press C like that, see where it changes right there, and then whatever basically acts as a ruler. I mean, an eraser. Oh, I said ruler. And now I color. Oh, but first, I am forgetting something. So if you press X, then it will change whatever color you're using to the opposite color. So if I press it, then it'll go there. With hair, I normally like to use the mapping pen. Call it my trusty mapping pen, because it has a finer look to it. Then you know what? I'm going to use the color slider, which you guys probably can't see in this image. But what this is it lets me change whatever color I'm using to another color. So yeah, it's fun. I know to turn that layer off because it'll cause a bunch of problems later on. And also, another thing that I personally like doing this. If you have a texture like this, I'll just give it like these little lines. And I just sort of, yeah, if you notice I curved that line right there, just so that it wouldn't create the tangent for his arm. See? So we're gonna save often. That is what I recommend. Control Shift N, Control G. Then I just make a bunch of layers. See, so look, now I'm at 26. I'm gonna name this layer Colors. I know I misspelled that, I really don't care, because I'm normally in the zone. Normally color the skin first, but I fall down and notice something. And I want to fix that right now, otherwise it will cause problems much later. Alright, now to activate, to get to the control, the paint bucket, I normally call it the photo bucket, just because I was corrupted by photo bucket. I press G twice, like really fast, and it'll just automatically take you to it. Then I just fill in the colors. Make sure that it's set to refer to other layers as well, otherwise, if you don't, like, if you have it set to this, refer only to editing layer, it's gonna do that. Also, how I'm moving through the subtools is this button, these buttons, like the ones that are like right next to the question mark. and this will move up, and this will go down with the subtools. So yeah, that's always fun. So also, the reason why I'm using red is not necessarily because it's easier to find colors, because one of my biggest art influences was Slugbox. He uses red and then he fills it in like that. It's actually because with red it will usually stick out more, like the white will normally stick out more if you're using red. Alright, I'm gonna switch this to the marker because it can cover a lot more space. I'm going to go back into time lapse now. Hold on, This is a good trick that I learned, and I believe it also works in Photoshop. But if you find you're just like, you don't want to deal with all these layers, or you want to put them in a folder, what you can do is you can press one layer, you can go down all the way to whichever layer you want, shift, and then press like the desired layer, and then like you can do whatever you want with them. Like you can move them around, press Control G, then they'll go into a folder. Press Control Shift G. Oh, that didn't happen. Hold on. Press Control Shift G. Okay, nothing happened. But normally I find myself just deleting a bunch of layers because I have too many, and I don't like having too many layers because they get very overwhelming. And like when I'm doing stuff like this, like where I need to multiply, it gets tiring, constantly going in and out, So that's also a thing. Also, I noticed that I was doing things that I haven't really explained. So if you press space, the space bar button, then it turns into the hand, and you can just sort of drag anywhere you want to. It's really cool. You can actually also press and hold any button, like so say you want to use the hand tool, you could press and hold that, and then it'll act as it, like for however long you need it. And then like you stop holding it, and it goes back to whatever tool you were using. So say I want to use the lasso tool, I'll press and hold M because it's under the marquee, and then you select whatever you want, and then like when I'm done with that, it just goes right back to it. Obviously Control S is for saving it. You know the deal with that. So back to the drawing. Okay, so now I am done laying all the flats, and this really depends on what you want to do, because I normally just like shade them, like, oh, let me make those, I don't want them. And then I'll immediately make a new one. Why didn't I just move that one up? Because I didn't care. Alright, so I normally select this color, the color of whatever I'm shading by this will really depend on your own stylus, but I have mine set to right click, and it will immediately pick up whatever color. I just go over to the color wheel and find whatever color I need, and then just do that. And if I don't like it, just do it again. It's just about seeing what color works. And if you really don't want to do that, like if you just want to get the colors down, you can just like do this. Then I normally use the photo bucket. Here's the photo bucket tool. And then I'll just that wasn't it. Then I just use the color slider. And then I'll just find the color that fits it best. I'll just color pick that up. And then I'll just finish the picture. And yeah, it's all about trial and error and that noise. People normally say the coloring stage is the funnest part. I don't know how I feel about that. So yeah, I'll see you when this picture is done.
So anyway, this was my tutorial on how I use Clip Studio Paint, and I just hope that you find it helpful in any way. So yeah, thank you for watching and hopefully listening. Bye!